You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, 16th day of December, 2020. Thanks for joining us. Wherever you are, just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First broadcast is our live training room. That one's private, members only, and those taking 1 week free trial. If you haven't taken your 1 week free trial, when Michael joins us in about an hour, he'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. It'll take you about 3 minutes. Get your indicators up and indicating today. Your trial will officially start morning, run all the way through. It's Tuesday afternoon. Weekends do not count against you. There's no credit card required for the trial. I want you focused on what's being taught so that at the end of the trial, you'll be able to make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. So, don't just give you access to the live training room, we give you access to everything. Treat you like you were already a passport holder. 5 consecutive trading days. You got access to the live training room, you got access to the private mentoring, strategy, the indicators, the alerts, the weekly zones, everything. Again, so that you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision whether or not trading is right. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, take a 30-minute break, and then come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere, planet Earth, internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join the afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do it once. mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says noon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form. Done. Going forward, what will happen is every trading day you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link. 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit there is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, still want to join live. Some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. Do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. It's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. But all you have to remember is youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live on our YouTube channel every trading day, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived for educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to our neck of the woods. It's a great way to get to know who we are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. You can literally see how we've evolved over the years, day by day by day. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to, but it's a great resource to have at your fingertips. And it allows you to see how we got from where we were way back then to are right now. YouTube.com/CF. On the left side of the screen, you'll see our schedule each afternoon broadcast. We're going to start with our daily devotional. That's where we start each and every day. And the topic that we began yesterday, great expectations. Rediscovering hope of Advent. First Sunday of Advent is the Sunday of hope. In fact, the whole season of Advent is about hope. Hope of Israel that God will make good on his promises. Look back to, for example, prophecies and promises, the book of Isaiah, that say that a child is going to be born, will then become the Prince of Peace and bring peace to a needy. In this season, we are reminded, popular Advent hymn, "Come thou, long expected Jesus, born to set thy people free. From our fears and sins, release us. Let us find our rest. Israel's strength and consolation, hope of all the earth thou art. Dear desire of every nation, joy of every." As we sing that hymn in the Advent season, we are reminded of Mary's Magnificat, sometimes called Mary's Song of Praise. Here we have Mary, the mother of Jesus, who's just found out that she's with child in a miraculous way. She goes to visit her cousin Elizabeth, and as she greets her cousin, she bursts out into song. That brings us to our scripture for 1:46 through 5. Mary said, "My soul glorifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior. He has been mindful of the humble state of his servant. From now on, all generations will call me blessed. The Mighty One has done great things for me. Holy is his name. Mercy extends to those who fear him, generation, generation. He has performed mighty deeds with his arm. He has scattered those who are proud in their inmost thoughts. He has brought down rulers from the earth. He has lifted up the humble. He has filled the hungry with good things, sent the rich away. He has helped his servant Israel, remembering merciful to Abraham and his descendants forever, just as he promised our ancestors." Again, that's Luke chapter 1, verses 46 through 50. This song is not just about Mary. Those first few verses, she reflects on the great things God has done for nobody in a world full of powerful men. At the same time, 6 of the 9 verses are about what God will do with his child, the whole world. God will turn upside down the injustices she and many people around her have experienced. One of the key words that Mary uses in the Song of Praise is mercy. God is merciful, passionate, and caring. You see, in Mary's world, gods of the nations were not known to be compassionate and merciful. But Mary remembers the tender-hearted nature of her God. Sing Mary's song with her today. We're not just looking back on what God has already done in the past. That's part of it. That's part of the hope we sing about at this time of year. It's also about singing this song with hope about what God is still doing in His world, as Mary does, and sing very personally about what God has done in our lives. The rest of this song is about these great overturning of injustices God has yet to do. And we can have hope for that as well. Mary clearly believed that this child would indeed be Israel's strength and consolation. As we light candles, gather together, go to church, and pray in this Advent season, mustn't be just looking back, but we're also looking at the same hope that filled Mary, gave her this song. Let's pray. Lord, our souls magnify you. Rejoice in you, Savior, who shows mercy from generation to generation. Lift the humble, fill the hungry with good things, and keep every promise you have spoken. Help us walk in humility, trust in your faithfulness, praise you with grateful hearts, all you have done. It's in Jesus' name. Pray. Everybody said, Amen and happy Tuesday. Give you the numbers. Start here in the US with cash markets, or the indices as they're called. And anyway, with my desktop. All right, let's see if we can fix it. I think we fixed it. Sure. Yeah, there we go. All right, starting in the US with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Dow's down 213 points. NASDAQ down 5. S&P 500 down 21. Russell 2000 down 11. The commodity basket. Crude oil down $1.23. Trading 55.60 last. It's a drop of well over 2%, almost 2.25%. Gold up $2.70, 4,307.90 last. Silver basically unchanged on the session, 63.59 last. Asian markets at the close. The Nikkei fell 784 points, 1.5%. Shanghai dropped just 1.25%. Hang Seng fell 393.5%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 66, DAX down 150, CAC down 18. So we had a red day in Asia. It was a red day for the U. And it's a red radio Tuesday here in the US of A. Red across the board. No green to be seen. All right, let's get into the news. Hang on a minute. Son of Hollywood director Rob Reiner, lovingly known as Meathead back in the 70s. Photographer Michelle Singer, his wife. Her son was booked into a Los Angeles jail yesterday on suspicion of murder of his parents. The LA Fire Department reportedly found the couple, aged 78 and 70, stabbed to death in their home while responding to a medical aid call Sunday afternoon. Youngest son, Nick, is currently being held without bail, and prosecutors are expected to file charges by the end of the day tomorrow. The 32-year-old had previously spoken publicly about his struggles with drug addiction and homelessness, collaborated with his father on the 2015 film Being Charlie, which is loosely based on his teenage years. I tried to watch it yesterday, but you got to pay for it, so I'll wait till it's free. Rob Reiner met his wife Michelle in the late 80s while directing When Harry Met Sally. Their relationship inspired him to change the ending of the romantic comedy. Reiner's other notable directing credits include Spinal Tap, Princess Bride, and thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of the Reiners. Federal authorities announced yesterday 4 people have been arrested on charges of plotting New Year's Eve bombings at multiple sites, 2 U.S. companies in Southern California. Court records identified the suspects as members of an anti-government group known as the Turtle Island Liberation Front. Individuals were arrested last week in the Mojave Desert while preparing to test explosives. One member allegedly provided a confidential FBI source with an 8-page plan of their attack, dubbed Operation Midnight Sun, which detailed simultaneous bombings, 5 locations of Amazon-type logistics centers. The names were not disclosed. The plan included instructions for building pipe bombs, avoiding DNA evidence, burner phones, and exploiting fireworks to mask explosions. Suspects, all from the Los Angeles area, aged 24, 30, 32, and 41. These charges of conspiracy and possession of an unregistered destructive device. Additional charges expected. Well, we should all, I guess, utter a sigh of relief that these guys were stopped. But the sad part is, who doesn't have a backup plan, a plan B? I'm sure the authorities are now drilling them, trying to get somebody to flip. And hopefully one of these that are under arrest can provide information that will lead authorities A Hong Kong court convicted 78-year-old former media mogul Jimmy Lai yesterday in a landmark national security trial. Pro-democracy activist faces up to life in prison. The sentencing hearing begins January 20th. Lai founded Apple Daily, a since-shuttered newspaper that reached more than 3.8 million registered web users, about half of Hong Kong's population. At its height, Lai had reported a net worth of $2.2 billion. In 2020, however, local authorities arrested him under a national security following anti-government protests the previous year. Lai was accused of conspiring with foreign governments to sanction China and Hong Kong and to print and distribute seditious articles. He spent the past 5 years in jail, including stretches in solitary confinement. The deal between China and the UK had guaranteed Hong Kong a degree of autonomy until 2047. Critics argue that recent national security laws are designed to restrict speech. All right, we're going to go to Wall Street next. Hang on. Sure, you've heard unemployment hit a 4-year high in November, even as the economy added jobs. The U.S. economy added 64,000 jobs in November as the unemployment rate crept up to 6%. According to Labor Department data published, unemployment rate is now at its highest level since September. November jobs report, originally scheduled to be published December 5th before the 40-day government shutdown, delayed multiple economic data releases, comes as Americans stress over rising layoffs and a frozen job market, still impossible to break into. These reports suggested those conditions persisted towards the end of the year. Economists surveyed by Bloomberg had expected a gain of 50,000 jobs. The healthcare sector, which had fueled job growth this year, added 46,000 positions for. And you know how much stock we put in. So, but it's the news, so share it. U.S. stocks were mixed in the first hour of trading today after a mixed bag flurry of updates on the labor market, just mentioned, delayed jobs report, and others. The outcome of what was until recently an obscure U.S. power market auction be the subject of intense interest this week for electric generators, regulators, and consumers alike. Results due late Wednesday will confirm what PJM Interconnection LLC, the nation's largest grid operator, serving millions of Americans from Chicago to Washington, D.C., will pay power generators to secure capacity starting in 2027. The bill is expected to reach $17 billion, according to the Bloomberg survey of grid experts, policymakers, and traders. That would mark the third consecutive year of record-breaking cost, as the swift build-out of data centers is adding billions of dollars to household. AI is amazing, but it ain't free. And from Bloomberg, Meta Platforms Instagram unveiled its first dedicated TV app, which lets users watch the short-form video reels on a larger screen. The app will initially launch on Amazon's Fire TV platform. Amazon described the offering as a test. Eventually, Instagram aims to expand onto other TV platforms as many consumers as possible. Turning to Capitol Hill, House Republican leadership is hoping to pass a health care plan this week, but it could hit some major speed bumps along the way. Going into the last week in session before Christmas break, House Republicans are in a rush to pass premium slashing legislation to counter Democrat-led efforts to extend enhanced premium tax credit levels set in place under President Biden. Republicans arguing that these tax credits are expensive, prone to fraud, and inflationary, are now trying to advance their policy alternative as the credits are set to expire at the end. The Republican bill is not a highly ambitious repeal, reform, or restructuring of Obamacare. All know. Rather, it's a bundle of focused tweaks to the health insurance system that aims to lower health care costs instead of the government's current strategy, which has been to have government subsidize an increasingly affordable health care system. Only people making money off of Obamacare are the insurance companies. Just wait till you see their annual reports. The bill's lack of highly controversial provisions by design, as Republicans will need to rally their narrow majority in the House and pick up at least 7 Democrat votes in the Senate to have any chance of the bill reaching the president's desk before the credit expiration date. Many of the Republican proposals debated in recent weeks have involved setting up flexible health savings accounts as a replacement for enhanced premium tax credits. The House bill left those flexible health savings accounts out. House Republican leadership aide told Daily Signal that they remain open to this idea in the future, that their bills right now, I think, have a real strong consensus and again lower premiums for. Isn't that what we really want? And last but not least, Social Security. Approximately 71 million Social Security recipients will see a 2.8% cost of living increase when checks are sent out. Social Security Commissioner told Morning in America the benefits change comes as the agency shifts its operations and aims to lower wait times both online and in person. The agency's new digital-first agenda, eliminating nearly 30 hours of wait time for recipients. I had the 14th commissioner in my office yesterday. She talked about the relevance of this digital transformation and how over it was, referencing Joanne Barnhart, who served as SSA lead from 2001 to 2007. The majority of Social Security services are handled about 88%. That he wants to see online Social Security accounts increase in the going to keep putting out dollars, invest in technology, driving payments to the highest level of accuracy while following on President Trump's mission of protecting and preserving, driving out fraud and abuse. Despite the digital push, he said, agency officials will always be there in field offices to serve those who aren't comfortable using phone or technology to handle their Earlier this year, Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency announced the closure of 47 Social Security offices across the U.S. as part of the administration's push to cut excess workers. In Medicare, Medicaid, and the Social Security, there's so much fraud, so much waste, so much abuse. If this current administration doesn't put a stop to it, it's only before you know it, we'll be referred to as a moral nation. Can't happen. Biden's Destroy America plan almost did it. Logic 247 is our 24/7 around-the-clock Emini alert service. Not just the E-minis, but also crude and silver. Currently in week 385. Over the last 385 weeks, we've issued over 21,200 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued a total of 28 logic alerts. Time Valerie did the recap this morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern. Still waiting on the outcome of 10. So that gave us 18 actionable alerts, of which so far 1 or 6% would have been stopped out. Again, based on simple market structure and the simple process we teach all of our passport holders. The purpose of the logic alerts is to teach you how to read a chart. If you're going to trade for a living, you need to be able to look at a chart and understand what it's telling you. It's giving you a lot of information. You need to learn where the market is telling you to anticipate support. You should anticipate resistance. And in doing so, you begin to see opportunity exist. Until you can read a chart, chances of you becoming a consistently profitable trader, well, let's just say it's pretty narrow. Every logic alert is an entry price, long or short, an initial target designed to help you get, in most cases, additional targets, and then a final trade to target. Used properly, even if you never trade a single logic alert, use them for the purpose intended, they will teach you how to read the chart. Logic alerts come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. If you trade around the clock, traders around the day session is their session, and vice versa. 385 weeks is a long time, a little over 7 years. Many years before Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge, and they're different in a lot of ways. For the purpose of this discussion, I'll simply point out that they typically come out 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open, as they did Sunday night, last Thursday night. I can't remember the last time I didn't get them out 5 minutes ahead of the Open. But last night I was running late, and so as a result, put a note in the discussion group. It said the CTAs will be late tonight. How late were they? 5:25 p.m. Eastern. It should say 6:25 p.m. Eastern. So normally, all of our traders have these targets 5 minutes before the market opens. Last night, sorry guys, got them 25 minutes after the market. Best to get back on track tonight. So what this means is 25 minutes after the Tuesday session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. All of our traders had these targets: the S&P 500, Dow, the Russell, oil, NQ, and silver. Remember, we have rolled forward on crude to the G contract weekend, and we rolled indices. S, the Dow, the Russell, and the NQ. Roll those forward. H. So now every market that we focus on all next year. 6/26. Okay. Haven't adjusted your charts, make sure you do. Otherwise, you'll be confused. We don't want you to be confused. All right, now we'll go to the chart of the S&P 500 bell. Tuned in yesterday, saw me draw in this. All I was trying to do was highlight this, the bullish cross. That's when the blue line gets above the green line. When that happens, first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support. As you can see, that is exactly what has happened. Now we closed yesterday touching the BBC. We did close right below it. Then we opened basically right at it. So we're going to need one more day. If we close where we are right now or lower, and then we have an open and close tomorrow, then we will officially bullish to. Looks to me like the writing's on the wall. Continue lower. Watch this area right here for potential support. Watch this area right here. Potential support. This area here. Up here, you can see blue and climbing has turned to red and falling. Out here. Now, all these vertical lines, I had them on the chart for a couple weeks, so I'm going to take them off. I like to keep it as clean as possible. All they do is highlight where the step line crossed the blue and climbing. Every time price reverts to the mean. Price always reverts to the mean. I don't care what market you trade, I don't care what strategy you use, price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green, we call it the BBC. Put that out and highlighted it after day. Now we're going to do housekeeping. There we go. Now, if we start heading down to these lower areas, fib extensions might become reverse. Just like the fibs could become reverse. See, look at it this way. Leg retrace. It's always reverse to the mean. Leg retrace. Leg retrace. Leg retrace. Leg retrace. We had a 6-day pullback that held and went on to provide new all-time historic highs, intraday and closing highs. We had a deeper pullback. We had a head fake bearish signal here. opened and closed below. See, this was a Sunday night. We gapped higher on the open. On Wednesday, we printed a daily. Now it sent us down to spike this double bottom that we had going on. Market found support right here. Off we go. Now, see, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Eventually, it's going to trade. Saw that happen right here. This pullback held. This pullback traded. This pullback is held for 1, 2, 3 days now. All three of those candles are touching the VBC. Officially go from bullish to bearish. We need to see a candle open and close. VBC. This much red and falling, chasing price. I think probably what we'll see. Now, initially found support right at the bullish cross this morning, and we caught a pretty good bounce off of it. Now that's been taken away. Markets are heading lower. Right here on this candle where you have a wick sticking up and a wick sticking down. That's probably going to give you a bounce right there. And slow should be good for bounce. Right here where red turned to blue, that should be good for bounce. Slow should be good for bounce. And this low should give you a bounce. Way down here is the 24% Feb retracement. We haven't had a 24% Feb retracement on the daily chart. Long overdue. It's not how markets work. These don't grow to the sky. You may be about to see the second worst December since 1933. But there's still time for the market to turn itself around. Now, all alerts are created on the 30 chart. Logic 247 alerts and the concierge trade alert. Vertical line separates today Tuesday, yesterday Monday, and these are this week's weekly. Now this zone is 6906/07. This is 53/50. This is 50/51. Those are the zones all of our members got Monday morning. And of course there's more. Still got more to go. But once the zones are published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. Change in any way whatsoever. And Sunday night is our 16-year anniversary. Publish the zones for our members every week. When price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support. Price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance until proven. Right here, right here. First, we hit short target by 7 o'clock. Market opened at 6. This is the 6:30 candle. This is the 7 o'clock candle. Consolidated at the weekly zone for hours. Drop. Now when red and falling gets directly below price, support. See how they were running parallel on the way down? Once that step line crosses, it indicates that we're going to likely see a pullback to the BBC, and we here red and falling turned to climbing. That took us back up short target. We traded through it, and we found resistance right here. Not a spot I would have called for. Again, this was a news-driven event. 8:30. Green candle that ran all the way up here. Now we get into a situation where blue and climbing is directly price. Run up, run down. Up, run down. Back held, the pull back held. Now, just off the low of the day. We had a double bottom going on right here. Just traded through it, got a bounce. Now, step line is starting to look like it wants to cross red and falling. If it does, we should see a retracement to the BTC. The market's pretty heavy. I gave you the numbers from around the world. Asia, the UK, and the US of A. It's not because of Christmas. Dow. Yesterday we found support at the zone. It bounced us up to the BBC on the open last night. And then down we go, right to the short target. This was based off where it turned to blue. Then we hit the weekly trading zone, 690/95. Consolidated. Got a pull back to the BBC. Drop to the zone. Got that news bounce right here at 8:30. Side does align with this high right here. And we don't recommend trading news. It's kind of like gambling. So we come back down through the BBC, through the zone, hit this zone, 844/40. This is the second to the lowest weekly zone on Tuesday. Week we could see a turnaround back in the other direction, or we could continue down this weekly zone for the week. 7,575. Everybody will be telling you the world's coming to an end. You understand? It's just how markets work. Lag and a retracement, a lag and a retracement, a lag, retracement, and then you get a deeper retracement. That deeper retracement often turns into a reversal until the market finds a support area. It starts all over again. The indices will always go higher over time. That's how they're designed. S&P 500, for example, that's 500 large cap companies that have been handpicked by the board over its Standard & Poor's. Just a few weeks ago, we had 3 companies booted out and 3 strong bullish companies brought in. So, over time, indices will always go higher. Very important to have a long-term investment horizon. 20s, even early 30s. It beats trying to handpick individual stocks. That's a lot like gambling. So right now, we're waiting to see if we're going to consolidate at the zone. Only one of 3 things happens when price encounters a zone. 70% of the time, it's consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. Like this candle. It's last 30-minute candle sliced through that zone like it wasn't even there. Then it ran out of steam and retraced back to the zone it sliced through, continued in the direction of the slice. Now, there's 9 minutes left in the life of this candle. The moment it looks like we're going to close it, a lot can happen in 9 minutes. Russell. This was the opening candle last night. And second 30-minute candle, short target. Consolidated and continued down to the zone. Bounce, back and tested it again. Bounced, came back, tested it again. Now you got all this blue and climbing chasing price. That's a good indication price is going to trade. See what you did. Back held. New spike. Then find ourselves trading below 25.8. Still one more zone below. NQ. Resistance at the zone, support at the zone. Here's the open last night. Took us down here. Then we wandered back up and got back to the underside of the short target. Just consolidated sideways. Price, as you can see, is dealing with this weekly zone. Remember, once the zones are published Monday morning, they don't change whatsoever. Should we continue lower and take out the lowest zone? At close of business on Friday, we anticipate being back at the lowest zone. How it's played out much for the last 16 years. Yes, there have been handfuls of weeks where, well, if you take 52, that's how many weeks, at times 16, a lot of weeks. I would say times got a market close above the highest zone or below the zone. Oil already came down and tapped the lowest weekly zone. Low was 54.89. Zone, the lowest zone for this week is 54.5/50. Anytime we hit the lowest weekly trading zone by Tuesday morning, by end of the week, we expect price to be near the other end of the spectrum. So, as price gets back above the BBC and holds the pullback, if that's how it works, opportunity. Very close look at the long side. Lots of room to. It's the highest weekly zone, 60. And the lowest zone, 54.85/50. And the low, okay, 9. Check in zone. Gold, where we opened last night. Pulled up to the BBC and the weekly trading zone. Resistance that sent us down to support at the short target. Price traveled sideways, red and falling, got below price, turned into blue climbing, took us all the way up. That long target is based off this right here. Cross. Red line gets below the green line. Have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move. First time price revisits that area. Must always be good resistance, and it was. Poked through it, back to the BBC, and so far, back is held. Sitting on top of support at resistance times 2 right here. Resistance here. Here. And here. Last but not least, silver. Last night, down we came through the short target to the zone. Consolidated. Got back above the BBC. This was at 8:30 news. Now when you see all these wicks sticking to the upside, it's a good indication that lower prices are on the way. Hit the short target again right here, and we bounced back above C, but the blue and climbing, it's directly above price, so that's going to act as resistance. Silver looks like it wants to trade higher. I have to overcome these obstacles. Here's the cross right here. Spiked it, spiked it, spiked it. Are unable to close above. And one last look at the daily S&P 500. Have now traded through this cross. It held the market up quite a few hours this morning. But this is a heavy market. Now your eyes should be down here at about 67. Let's call it 67.90 just to be very conservative. Now that's about 30 points, 40 points lower than. All right, Michael should be here in just a second. Just a recap of what happened this morning in the live training. Then do a little live trading as time permits. I'll come back and wrap things up with it. Okay, so stand by. Mike will be just a second.
Okay. Hang on. Did I get a message in here somewhere?
Nope.
Okay.
I was just waiting on you.
Oh, okay. Here I am.
Howdy.
Sorry. Took me a second. How are you doing?
Good.
I met with Blake. Hopefully Blake is in here right now. And Blake, if you have any questions, you can ask him right in here too. Okay.
Okay, charts look good.
All right. Excellent. Thank you. Let me take a little drink before I start talking, because I know it's going to be 30 minutes of straight talking. All right. Here we go. Start here. Good afternoon, everyone. Start here. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 16th day of December, 2025. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that purple button. And that is going to bring you to this registration page where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom gives you TradingView login ID. All right. Once you give us that, we'll get your indicators indicating on your desktop. Now, if you don't have a TradingView login ID, click on this right here, and it's going to bring you to this page. Follow the instructions in this video. If you get the essential, it's $15 a month. You're gonna have to pay for real-time data. That's $7 a month. You get the essential, you get it for free for 30 days, but after the 30 days, it'll be $15 a month. That's cheaper than trying to get the basic, the free version, and you get more with it. But if you get the basic free version, you end up paying $30 a month for the data. So you end up paying more money for less. You don't want that. All right, so just do that. All right, results. We had a good day today in the room, our best day of the month in the room. And it didn't even seem like it, didn't feel like it. I was doing all that much today. But it was one of those last 10 trades, you know, when it was like, I think it was 11:15, and it was 11:10, and I said we have 15 minutes left. I said we can probably get 10 more trades in that 15 minutes, and we did. And we had some really good ones in that 15 minutes. I got the NQ from like 80 something to 213. Okay, so anyway, if you can read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. We're up 213 on the NQ, -8 on the YM, +84 on gold, and +21 on the ES. Now on the ES, 21 was not the high of the day. 36 was the high of the day on the ES. 84 on gold, that was the high of the day. The NQ, 213, that was the high of the day, and the YM, -8, that was the low of the day. So that's how it worked out trading. The YM ended up being the one that was the anchor on that one. Today it took 2 minutes and one trade to get to $1,300 with 10 contracts on, or 130 with one. And we took 44 trades this morning with 7 stop outs. Averaging 84% of our trades were break even or better. So on the month now we're at $16,980 with one contract over 10 trading days, averaging $1,415 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year now, we're up $270,437 over 216 trading days, averaging $1,252 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Now, the 24/20 blueprint says, if you get your goal for the day, the goal being $100 per contract, if you get the goal for the day and you quit trading, you keep doing that, eventually you're going to be up to $2,000 per contract in profit. Once you get $2,000 per contract in profit, then you can add another contract. That's what the 24/20 blueprint says. Now, there are roughly 20 business days or 20 trading days in each month, so it should work out. If you get the goal every day, it should work out for you to get $2,000 per month in profit per contract. So if you just add one contract a month, that's what we did with this. Just add one contract a month, you'd be at 12 contracts now. We'd have gone from one contract in January to 12 contracts now. And these are the results if you, is that not, that looks kind of low. Last month, did we have a bad month last month? Oh, I remember we took some time off last month. That's right. So we only had 14 trading days last month. That's what it was. I forgot. Okay, so last month was 11 times 11 contracts, and this month is 12 contracts. All that said, so far this year, if you did it just like I did, exactly like I did, you'd be up $222,894 at this point, averaging $7,492 per contract. We could exceed that tomorrow, depending how well I do tomorrow morning, but by the end of the week, for sure, we'll be exceeding that. Now, that number comes from doing the 24/20 blueprint. Now, I started the 24/20 blueprint in January of 2023, and I finished it in August of 2024. So that means last year we started with 13 contracts and worked our way up to 20 contracts, finishing in August. That's where that number comes from. All right. So let's get into the trades. This was an essential one that I was doing earlier when I was helping. And here we go. We'll start out with the gold. Today we had, the YM had hardly anything. The rest of them had almost the same across all of them. So we'll start out with the gold. Let's hit control and back on that one. Look back on that one. There we go. All right. So on the gold, our first trade here on the gold. That's where we got the gold for the day. We got 13 ticks on the very first trade. That's where we got the gold for the day. The next trade, we picked up 5 more to go to 18, then 1 to 19, then 2 to 21, then 10 to 31, then 20 to 51, then 10 to 61, then went from 61 to 77, and then we stopped out down to 62, and then we got 10 to 72, and then we stopped out again down to 57, and then we got 1 to 58, then 8 to 66, and whatever that takes to get to 84. I guess 18 to get to 84. And that is where we ended it on the morning session. Now, during the break, this was a valid trade right here. This was not, because this one right here didn't go full down to the so it didn't have a full cycle there, so that was not a valid trade. This was a valid trade right here, so you had 2 nice trades in there. Okay, this was a good trade right here. It was flat on the bar before. This was a good trade right there. Looking for shorting opportunities. This was one right here. That would have been on the gold. We might have taken some profit on that on 9-tick range, break even or a little bit of profit maybe. That was not a trade. That, right? Nope. This was the one that actually took it out of the overbought. No, this was. Okay, so this would have been a trade right here. This would have been a valid trade right there. Nice trade too. Nothing on the long side through there. This right here would have been a good trade. This would have been a good trade. That was a tick above. I mean, it would have been an okay trade if you took it, but it was a tick above. Same thing with that one right there. If I blow it up, you'll see it's a tick above the actual midpoint. You want it to be on or below the midpoint. Okay, and that was it for the gold. So there's some really good opportunity there in the gold today and during the break. The YM. Now the YM kind of whooped me this morning, so we'll go back and see how it did that. Oh, what about whooping me? Whooping. Okay, here we are. All right, well, it's going all the way over here. I didn't take that many trades in the YM to start out with. Wow, I really didn't. Okay, so our first, I didn't really, now that I think about it, I only took 4 trades in the YM. So our first trade here was a +1. And then we got one more 1 to go to 2. And then we got somewhere in there, we had a +5 to go to 7. And then we stopped out, and that put us at -8. So somewhere in here, there was a +5 to go to 7. It was probably right here. There. Had a +5 to go to 7. And then we stopped out, and that put us at -8. And that was it for the YM. During the break, I don't know why YM just didn't give anything up today. During the break, even during the break, it didn't give anything up. Is this a trade? Nope. Nope. This right here would have been a long trade. That would have worked out a little bit. Nope. That would have been a long trade. That would have worked out. See, nothing in here mattered because we never made it to the overbought. Coming out of the oversold right here. And it flipped bearish and flipped back bullish. This right here, you could have taken that. That would have worked out okay. This would have been a short right here. That would have worked out okay. This was nothing because none of these went into the oversold. Okay, the first one wasn't off the midpoint, and none of the other ones went into the oversold. So this was nothing right here. This one you could have taken right there for a nice trade. That was a gap down. That would have been a nice one to be in. We didn't have anything to grab that. You could have taken this one right here. So that might have kept you in it for the gap down right there, but you probably would have been out after that trade right there. That was some profit or break even. And that brings us current. We need an up close right now. An up close on the YM will be a long trade. I can't let me down. Okay, we need an up close on the YM for a long trade. Right now, it's got a low here of 52, so we buy in 62 on that right now. Looks like. Okay. My window on top, and I'll slide it over here. And we'll move on to the next market. Okay, so we're waiting for the YM to give us an up close right here. That'll be a long trade on the up close. I think it's still lows 50. Okay, so this should be actually 60 now. Okay, now the low just dropped. The low is now 46, and that's too low. I'm going to cancel this. Cancel. Okay, that ended up not being a trade because it got too far away. The ES, we had a bunch of trades on the ES today. So let's hit control and back on that guy. All right. So here we go. Our first trade on the ES, we picked up 8 ticks there. Then we stopped out, put us at -2. Then we got 4 that put us at +2. Then another 4 that got us to +6. Then a +20. That was actually, I'm sorry, not 20, +30. That got us to 36. You nailed that one right there for 30 ticks. Then we stopped out, brought us down to 26. Then we stopped out again. Right there, brought us down to 16. Then we had a +2 to 18. Then we stopped out again, down to 8. Then we had a +4 to get to 12, a +8 to get to 20, and a +1 to get to 21. And that is where we ended it on the ES. Now during the break, let's spread out a little bit here so we can see it a little better. During the break, there was a short right there that would have been break even or better. There was a short right there that would have been break even or better. That would probably have been much better. There was a long right here that would have been a good trade. A long right there that would have stopped you out to the tick. A long right here that would have been a break even. A long right here, break even or a little better probably. A short right here, that would have been a nice trade. Short right here would have been a nice trade. Well, some profit anyway, not really nice, but some profit. This was nothing because we never made it to the oversold after this one. That was not a valid trade. Okay, so you would have missed that gap down right there. That stinks. This right here would have been a trade. I don't know if that went enough to get to break even. It would have been either a break even or a stop out. And that was it. So on the ES, we ended up with 21 ticks this morning. Okay. 21 ticks. We don't have trades anywhere right at the moment. On the NQ now, let's hit control and back on that one. Only watching ES. Okay, that's good. If you're only watching the ES, then as you just saw, there were plenty of trades there on the ES today. Plenty of opportunity on the ES. And I'm scrolling. Wow, there's a lot of bars here on the NQ. It's 114. I need 12. No, it's 114. 114. Okay. Here we are. All right. So we had our first trade right here. This is the NQ. Our first trade on the NQ. We picked up 45 ticks on the very first trade. Okay. Then we stopped out on the very next one. Went down to 20. And then we had 14 there to get us to 34. It's a lot of bars. Wow. Just getting 10 o'clock. All those bars before 10 o'clock. Went from 34 to 38. In the beginning, we didn't trade much on the NQ, it looks like. We're stuck there at 38 for a long time. Until we got in the last half of the session. From 38 to 46, then 46 to, 38 to 41, then 41 to 86. And that's an off blue because I wasn't on the midpoint right there, but I had the order waiting, and it tripped me in. Went from 86 to 90, and 90 to 106, then 106 to 110, then 110 to 114, 114 to 135, 135 to 180, and then 180 to 197, 197 to 201, and 201 to 213. And that was it with the NQ. All right, that was it with the NQ. So from there was one short right here during the break, a short right here during the break, both of those good trades, a short right here during the break. That would have been close to stopping you out, but it should have given you some profit after waiting it out. So all three of those would have been good trades, no stop outs. The next would have been right here along there. That would have been a good trade. A short here, that would have stopped you out. So you have 4 plus 1 minus. That would have been a good trade. 5 plus 1 minus. Nothing in there. Nothing all the way through there. Nope. 5 plus 1 minus so far. That would not have been a trade because it didn't go full cycle. This one right here. 6 plus 1 minus. 7 plus 1 minus. That was a huge move. It flipped back around. Nope. That would have been one right there. He eventually turned into something. 8 plus 1 minus so far. That was not a trade. Flipped around again. Nope. None of these would have mattered because this one didn't go into the overbought. That would have been a trade. That would have stopped you out. 8 plus 2 minus. That would have been a good trade. 9 plus 2 minus. That would have been a break even or plus 4 for me. So I guess it would have been a plus 4. So 10 plus 2 minus. This would have been a trade right there. 11 plus 2 minus. That didn't hit the midpoint. And that's it. 11 plus 2 minus during the break. So there was plenty of opportunity. All right. Now we have 11 minutes left. So we'll see what kind of trading we get in here in the next 11 minutes. Again, if you're just coming on YouTube or anywhere really, and you haven't taken a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button, no credit card required. Once you click the purple button, it's going to bring you to the registration page. Just fill it out. Just fill it out. All right. On the NQ now, we need to hit the midpoint. You see how it just came out of the overbought right there and reset the midpoint. So now it needs to go in the oversold and back into the overbought to reset it again. Okay. So the YM is just about ready for a trade. It needs a down close right now. It's got a high of 52, so we're selling 42. Now it's got a high of 54, so we're selling 44. Just watching it on the DOM. So right now it's got a high of 55, so he's selling 45. 10 ticks below the top of the bar is what you're selling. This was not flat before, so that's not a trade. Okay, so this just changed to a high of 57, so you're selling 47. Gold almost has a trade here now. It just needs to hit the midpoint, give it down close. The NQ's got nothing because it has to go full cycle. So we could trigger in right here. We just did trigger in on the YM. Right, the gold didn't give us anything because it didn't hit the midpoint, but we triggered in on the YM with a little slippage. Now after 5 ticks, it goes to +1, and so we're at +1 on the YM right now. The YM's been kicking our butt all day. Let's hope we're going to get more than 1 out of it, but +1 on the YM. Okay, and the NQ could give us a trade here. An up close on this bar and a down close on the next one could be a trade on the NQ. But today in the afternoon session, we have 1 YM. This is today. 1 on YM. Go back here. The NQ is in the overbought. Just needs a down close now. Okay, down close on the NQ will be a short. 5 points from the top of the bar. 5 points from the top of the bar is what we want to sell. There it is, a minute. Here it is. That's got a 25 tick stop on it. Okay, and it just stopped me out. -25 on the NQ. All right, this is not a valid trade here. That's not a trade there. So I'm going to put that over here. NQ minus. Let's put today's date in here. 16. And now I'll go over here and do number of trades 2, number of stop outs 1 so far. And number of minutes will be 11. Do that. All right, back in there. Gold needs an up close followed by a down close. That'll be a trade. NQ needs an up close. Should have gotten it into the overbought followed by a down close. Should take it out. It didn't paint. It's repainted over there. Gold needs the up close followed by the down close. The NQ actually needs another up close followed by a down close. Because we're not in the overbought. So it needs an up close to get it in the overbought, and then a down close to get it out of the overbought. And across the midpoint. Okay. It didn't do it. It didn't put it in the overbought on the up close. So we're probably not going to get a trade there. The YM didn't go full cycle. The gold closed up. Now it just needs a down close. It's got a high here of 30.2, so be selling 29.2 on that. Okay, as long as the high stays there at 30.2, you'd be selling 29.2 on that. The NQ is flipping the YBR here. Just hit that, so it's going to flip the YBR. All right, we got a high here, 30.5, so we're selling 29.5 on the gold. It's too far away. We're not going to have a trade there. Cancel. It's flipping the YBR. Everything's going to flip the YBR here. We're going to be looking at long trades now. And we have 6 minutes left. Let's see if we can get out of this hold in 6 minutes. Just need one good trade on the NQ. QQQ short soon. That suggests that the NQ is going to start dropping right now from a larger time frame. We're oversold, but we're nowhere near the midpoint. It's unlikely that we're going to have a trade here on the NQ. See, it just came out and it reset it. Now it's likely we will have a trade. Okay, it's got to finish going into the overbought and then pull back with the reset of the midpoint. That's what we needed there. Everything is just about ready to give us a long trade here. Okay, the NQ didn't go all the way into the overbought. The ES is about to give us a trade. It needs a down close followed by an up close. The YM needs to hit the midpoint, give us an up close. The gold needs a down close, then borrow off the midpoint with an up close. This is not a trade here on the NQ. I think it's going to flip the YBR back down. This last one didn't go full cycle, so this doesn't mean anything. Okay, I don't think the S is painted properly. There it is. Okay, so the S just needs an up close right here. It's got a low currently of 24.75. Now let's see. Okay, forget the S. It's not going to be a trade. I think everything's going to flip the YBR back down. Just give you a head fake. Okay. The NQ's already flipped it. The E1 is too far away to give you a trade. The ES is too far away to give you a trade. The gold is the only one right now that could give you a trade. The NQ could, a short, but on the long side, the gold's the only one that can give you a trade right now. Okay. This is not a trade here on the YM. Not a trade here on the NQ. Not a trade anywhere. Nowhere right now. And it's 128. You know, I have a chance to get it back today, guys. We might get a shot at this. All right, so oversold is going to go back up, and there it is. Might get a shot at that on the NQ. Down close right there on the NQ. That should have pulled it out of the overbought right there, that down close. Okay, but it didn't. So this one has hit the midpoint, so a down close on this one could be a trade too on the NQ. Okay, in the meantime, we have nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Okay, so now a down close here on the NQ could be a short. And I think it's going to happen right here. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Nope. Give a long trade. Okay, it could be on this one though. Could still happen here. Down close on that. Nope, now it's too far away. That didn't work out. That's not a trade. That's not a trade. That's not a trade. That's not a trade. All right. Well, it looks like we're going to end up with not a green session this time. Give it one more minute here and see. Come up with anything else. This is going to flip the YBR. This is going to flip the YBR. Could get something on the YM. Could get something on gold, but I doubt it. See, we need an up close, but it can't hit the YBR. An up close to get it into the overbought without hitting the YBR. I don't think it's going to happen. Ugh. All right. Well, so this is how we're going to end this session, it looks like. I'm gonna have a white day today, minus $1,200. Let me make it white. What's my color? Okay, because we only have 11 minutes. So we're minus $1,200 today. 2 trades, one stop out. So 50% of our trades were break even or better today. And this becomes a 16. Okay. So is that right? That didn't seem like it did anything. It's like I can make this any number I want, and it doesn't change. This becomes a 16. What is this? Divided by 10. I thought I fixed this yesterday. It's this divided by, okay, that's what it is. This is a per contract basis. Okay. So that divided by that equals that divided by, I thought I did this yesterday, Michael R. There we are. Okay, that makes sense. So now if this goes to 17, all right, that makes sense. I think I got it fixed. All right, so in the afternoon session so far, on 16 sessions that I've kept track of since I started keeping track of them, we're up $18,525, right? $18,525, averaging $1,852. I'm sorry, with a total with one contract of $1,852 over 16 sessions, or $18,525 over 16 sessions. We're averaging with 10 contracts, $1,157 per session. With one contract, $115 per session. Okay, that's over the 16 sessions that we've done in the afternoon so far. And these afternoon sessions are just a few minutes usually, so it's pretty good. If you do it, if you do that by the minute, if I had an average number of minutes here, I don't know what that would be, but it'd be a pretty good number. Anyway, if you haven't taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required. Click on the purple button, and that will bring you to this registration page. Just fill it out. All right, once you fill out this registration page, we sent a link to get into the room in the morning and to get your indicators indicating on your desktop. Okay, that is it, guys. There was one more ES trade right here that would even us a profit. There was a YM trade right there, and there was no gold and no NQ trade. But that's it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. And here comes Dwayne. There it is.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 2 minutes and 1 trade to get to $1,300.
Job.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. One last look here at the daily chart. As you can see, this little tangle we drew in yesterday, highlighting the bullish cross, which we expected to be support the first time down. Most of the morning session we spent right above it, drop below it, spike the little rectangle I drew, and like we're definitely going to see today. Red and falling, chasing price. We need to see one daily candle open and close. See, probably headed down to test this double bottom here. That's going to be it for me today. I got to run. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you are, may God continue richly bless you. See you.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.